Can't find out what to buy at the computer store? Benjamin Rockwell's got the answer. And now, with a quest of enriching your experience with computers, here's Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. As you might imagine, I am a computer nerd. Everybody here actually on the team, we're all nerds. We enjoy this. We have fun working with computers and technology and bringing you this information that we do every week. Coming up later on this hour, I'm going to give you some travel advice for your technology. You know, you're dragging along your iPhones, your iPads, your laptops, that kind of stuff. So we're going to cover that. Coming up next this hour, we're going to be talking about the latest, Keith M. Cedar and I are going to be talking about the latest announcement from CBS and Paramount in regards to Star Trek fan films. And I'm going to save that for later. It's pretty wild. But first, we're going to do as we always do, or most of the time at least. We're going to talk about the technology news. This first one is one that is actually kind of sad. A gentleman by the name of Joshua Brown was behind the wheel of a self-driving Tesla Model S car. He's an ex-Navy SEAL. And he became the first motorist to die in a self-driving car after just a month ago in his Tesla. He had a near miss for the same reason. It all boils down to the fact that the system in the Tesla wasn't able to detect the truck because the truck was white and it was very similar to that of the very bright sky. And this is disconcerting, of course, to some people. However, I'm going to point out something that Tesla pointed out. This is the first known fatality in over 130 million miles where autopilot was activated. Amongst all of the vehicles in the United States, there's a fatality every 94 million miles. So it's already ahead of the game. Not that it's any real comfort for the family of Joshua Brown, but that gives you an idea of where we're at in all of that. Spotify is having a problem with Apple. See, Spotify has an Apple app, or an iPhone app, rather, and they released an update, and, well, all of a sudden, the update... Well, basically, Spotify stopped working. And Apple and Spotify are going to court over this. This is going to be something that's going to be fought out for, I imagine, a while now. Part of what Apple is complaining about right now is that Spotify does not use Apple's billing method for in-app purchases and subscription services. And Spotify is complaining because, well, they've been allowing it for a long time now. So they're fighting each other, and it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. Hackers have stolen the password, not for Facebook, the CEO of Facebook, not for Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, which we reported that last week. This week, Google CEO Sundar Pichai was basically, his password was released, and they've been having a lot of fun along the way with doing this. This is going to be a situation where we're going to see more and more famous people's passwords or accounts hacked. The interesting thing is, in this case, the company, which I'm not going to name because they basically offer cybersecurity services and said, we are just testing your security, and they'll charge you, if you want this run, $100 to $5,000. And this is kind of, I don't know, we talk about white hat hackers and black hat hackers, and then there's gray hat hackers. The concept of white hat hackers is do no harm. Period. Gray hat hackers explore around and they get into various areas where they're not supposed to go, but they don't do it for personal gain. Black hat hackers go places where they're not supposed to go, and they do it for personal gain. The white hat hackers, they go places where they can go, where they're allowed to go, but they hack their own computers. They hack their own hardware, whatever it is. They hack their own car. The website, Lifehacker, which is more about hacking our lives, hacking the things within our lives. That's kind of the concept of white hat hacking. Gray hat hacking, again, you're not doing any harm, and you're doing this for no gain. These guys, this company, so-called company, is actually, in my book, they would say they're gray hat hacking or even white hat hacking. Oh, we revealed that we had hacked him, but we're offering up these services. Well, the fact that they're offering services to me says that they're not even gray hat hacking, they're black hat hacking. This is basically a similar form. It's not quite blackmail. It's kind of, I don't know. Is there a term, whitemail? I don't know. But you've got the idea there. It's a matter of, yeah, they're doing something wrong, and they're offering their services to resolve this. Yeah, that's kind of creepy. And we have, of course, another issue, and that is the fact that people are still fighting over who's in charge of the internet. Technically, it's us. Technically, it's the United States. And there's a company called the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. And it's actually now a global organization. And there's a number of private stakeholders and a number of governments that are involved in this. And there's been a progression moving along. There's been this evolution, this journey towards making this an independent organization, not really tied up with any government, or maybe just more even globalized, but moving it away from, yes, the United States government. But there's some concerns along the way. For instance, ICANN, I-C-A-N-N, that's, again, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, their Beijing office is located in the same building as the Cyberspace Administration of China. Yeah, that's the folks that lead the whole concept of censorship and monitoring what people are doing and the rest of it. In other words, it's deeply held with the government. And that is something that our own lawmakers are concerned about. And Ted Cruz is actually leading the fight to keep this under control of the United States, which makes sense to me. Forget about what you think about Ted Cruz or what you say about Ted Cruz. I like the idea that the internet should be controlled by a free country. And for that matter of fact, China is moving even further along the way. This past Monday, they created a new controversial cybersecurity law. And basically, they're working to create new controls over the internet and create new different things to monitor all of the data that's going on, all of the different information going around the world. And of course, yes, they have to do all kinds of different blocking of various popular sites because of, oh yes, they're these concerns of security with this growing threat of terrorism from, you can imagine where this is all going. They're doing their whole big song and dance. One more quick item, Microsoft and the Windows 10 issue. We're going to be talking about that in the coming month. We're going to be talking about that more and more. But one thing is very interesting. They lost a lawsuit. They're going to have to pay $10,000 because they forced someone to upgrade. And she already took them to court and won. We're going to see how that all evolves over the coming few months and years. This is Benjamin Rockwell. Keith M. Zedor joins me next here on Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
Keith M. Zedor is a Mac. Benjamin Rockwell is a PC. I think a fanboy fight is about to start.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. At a special time, Keith M. Zedor joins me now here on Computer Talk Radio.
Yes, it's so special that I actually get preempted.
Yeah, your normal segment gets preempted the normal 7 minutes, and then we're going to put you here in the 10 minutes?
I've heard it was similar. Of course, I'm quoting a line from the original series of Star Trek, Bread and Circuses, where Kirk, Spock, and McCoy beam down into a 20th century Romanesque style planet. And they have gladiatorial games on network television. And Captain Kirk, who's been ordered to be executed, has just been told that they've preempted 15 minutes on the TV show that normally airs. And he said, "You're probably centuries beyond anything as primitive as television." And Captain Kirk said, "I heard it was similar."
Oh, man. So we're talking, of course, about Star Trek. And this is one of those things that this past week, CBS and Paramount got together and they came out with a horrible list of guidelines for fan films. Now, we're going to talk about this a lot on the Nerdcast. We're going to have on Alec Peters and Robert Meyer Burnett, and we're going to talk to them about Axanar, which we can't call it Star Trek Axanar now because, well,
but in our hearts.
Yeah, in
our hearts.
Our hearts, our souls.
The blood
yes.
of Targ.
Oh, man.
In our hearts, this is true Star Trek. Or, as Robert Meyer Burnett likes to call it, head canon. It's not official canon, but it is what we believe to be canon. Between what fan fiction is and books and comics and things that are not officially sanctioned and officially created, these are things that are so true to the core concepts of Star Trek, and we love the stories so much, they become part of our own personal canon.
Yeah. This is just items that are in regards to the film canon. This is film and video. This isn't even going into any of the other stuff like the books or short stories, but it could easily extend in that direction. Some of these items just boggle my mind.
Let's bring our listeners up to speed, Benjamin, because not everybody is familiar with what Axanar is.
Okay, go for it.
Star Trek Axanar, or in this case, Axanar, is slated to be a feature-length film based upon the exploits and adventures of the legendary Captain Garth, who is the precursor to and hero/role model of a young Captain Kirk. So his adventures take place about 20 years before the time when Captain Kirk takes command of the Enterprise. And we actually meet Captain Garth in one of the original series episodes titled Whom Gods Destroy. And Captain Garth has been through so many things. He's actually become unraveled, and he's in a mental institution. And because of that, Captain Kirk has to bring an experimental drug, but little do they know that Captain Garth has acquired the abilities of shape-shifting, and an entire adventure ensues. I won't tell you any more about that, because hopefully our listeners will be able to view that episode on their own. But basically, what Alec Peters and Robert Meyer Burnett have done is they have created a story that tells the heroic exploits of Captain Garth and why his exploits are required reading at Starfleet Academy.
So now let's toss in some of these guidelines.
Well, before we do that, one last thing, just to bring people up to speed, so they're like, why is this so important? Why is this exciting? They made a proof of concept video, which is 21 minutes long, called Prelude to Axanar, which is available freely on YouTube. And it is made with such amazing attention to detail and production quality that fans have been clamoring for this movie to be made since this proof of concept was released a few years ago.
Definitely, and it's top notch, first rate. Now let's see here. Amongst these different guidelines that CBS and Paramount have put out, any fan production should be less than 15 minutes. Okay, Prelude to Axanar already doesn't meet that requirement. No more than 2 segments or episodes, so we can't even do a series. There's how many different folks are doing series out there? At least a dozen of them.
Oh, easily. I mean, if you look at any of the other Star Trek fan films, the 2 biggest ones being Star Trek Continues and Star Trek...
Be able to carry around, like, terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data in the normal hard drive space.
And that is exactly what I'm thinking. Because as you know, my current MacBook Pro, I've gone from 512 megabytes to 750 megabytes to a terabyte, and I've replaced my 1 terabyte drive with a 2 terabyte drive. And I think we've maxed out the storage space of a 9.5 millimeter drive, just about as small as we're going to go as far as an actual hard drive is concerned.
Mm-hmm. But productions, no recreations or clips from any production, but then they start going after all kinds of other things too. Like if you're using a Star Trek uniform, it has to be one of the commercially available authorized uniforms, and that includes the accessories, the toys, the props, stuff like that. And it's like. That one amazes me. It's like you have to feed their money machine. And they're also shutting down some of the other stuff. Number 5 on the list must be a real fan production. How do they define a real fan? All of the creators, the actors, all participants must be amateurs, cannot be compensated for their services, and... this is kind of an underscoring thing, cannot be currently or previously employed on any of the Star Trek series films, productions of DVDs, or with any of the CBS or Paramount Pictures licensees.
Now that one, pay attention to the verbiage on that one, because that one is a particular dig straight at Robert Meyer Burnett, because he was responsible for doing all of the enhanced Star Trek The Next Generation Blu-rays.
Sure. Well, you know what? That eliminates a number of people in the Axanar production.
All of the major figures.
Yeah.
All of the major characters are professional actors.
Right.
You've got
Richard Hatch, Tony Todd, J.G. Hertzler, Gary Graham, Kate Vernon, and these are all professional actors, and of course, actress. But some of these have been in Star Trek in the past already. And let's actually even go beyond that. Renegades, formerly known as Star Trek Renegades, has Tim Russ. and Robert Picardo, and they were looking at bringing Walter Koenig. Of course, we can't call it Star Trek Renegades. That's the old name. But Tim Russ is running that. We're talking a bunch of different names have latched on to fan films over the years. And all of a sudden, all of those fan films become null and void?
Well, one of the things that's a big disappointment to me is one of the bullet points in rule number 6. The fan production cannot be distributed on a physical format such as DVD or Blu-ray. And one of the perks that I was looking forward to for being at the $150 donor level is this proposed gorgeous 5-disc Blu-ray disc set of Axanar. I was really looking forward to that. I was looking forward to seeing that on Blu-ray and showing it on my big screen TV. And now they're saying I can't have that.
There is so much to this, and if you hang with us, we'll be back in just a moment as we cover, and I apologize, we're kind of geeking out, but this is kind of an interesting look into the realm of the nerd. Look, we are only halfway through these items. We've geeked out, we've nerded out on this, and I will tell you, this is an important thing for a lot of the nerds that are out there. The Star Trek nerds, the Star Trek geeks who are fans, and this is going to probably have ripples throughout the entire entertainment industry.
It most certainly will, Benjamin. And we had an extensive interview with Alec Peters and Robert Meyer Burnett, which is available to our listeners on the Computer Talk Radio Nerdcast, which will be out the day after you're listening to this.
So you can check this out online. Go to our website, computertalkradio.com, and look for the Nerdcast. And you'll hear even more in regards to this entire attack on the fans. This is Benjamin Rockwell.
And I'm Keith M. Sedor.
You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment.
Micro Center, home to all kinds of electronics and computer items, has over 20 locations across the country, and it's also available at microcenter.com. This is Benjamin Rockwell of Computer Talk Radio, and I live just a couple of miles away from my local Micro Center, and I've been shopping there for years. From Apple to Windows, they've got what you need. CPUs, got them. Screwdrivers and other tools, yep. Cables, televisions, scanners, projectors, cameras, they have it all. Micro Center is a place which fills your electronic needs. What are you looking for? Media centers, monitors, mice, MP3 players, media, modems, motherboards, memory. Those are just the M's. They aren't regional, but spread across our great land from Virginia to California. Each one is service and repair, in-store clinics, and business services too. Microcenter.com is their online store, a place where you can get your regular online ordering needs met. From the hobbyist to the professional, the brand name, or building it yourself, Micro Center is your resource. Check out microcenter.com today. Microcenter.com.
So I have been struggling with a concept of virtual reality. That's kind of one of the things we talk about here on Computer Talk Radio. The website, by the way, computertalkradio.com. Computertalkradio.com. And so I'm sitting here, and I have yet, well, until I saw this, I had yet to, beyond just the exploration of trying out virtual reality at places like CES and some of the other events that I go to, I hadn't really considered anything that really excited me with virtual reality. Okay, so I've got a virtual reality set of glasses on, and I'm looking across the room, utilizing the virtual reality at myself. Yeah. This is technology that's existed for quite a while. It's called a mirror. Yeah. That was really one of my experiences with virtual reality was, I can look around the room. Oh yeah, there we go. We've got cameras all around in there, 360, and I can look up and I can look down, and oh yeah, there I am across the room. Is this thrilling or what? All right, so yeah, and I've played some games, and there have been some neat games with virtual reality, and they utilize some of the concepts of you look around and you stare at an item for a matter of a couple of seconds. You just hone in, and there you go. That particular thing gets destroyed, and then that thing gets destroyed. And it was an interesting experience. That was, but it wasn't anything that was going to sell me on the concept of spending hundreds of dollars just for the VR headset. Forget about the rest of the stuff that's going to go along with this. So what happened this past week was something that was an announcement that was very amazing. And that is that a company called VRWorks has gotten together with Autumn Productions, and they're going to release something called Jesus VR, the story of Christ. Okay. Yes, it is what you think it is. Well, it's even more than what you might think it is. It is a 90-minute VR, virtual reality, exploration, well, no, more than an exploration, reenactment of the New Testament. Now, this is being executive produced by a guy by the name of Enzo Sisti. Enzo Sisti did the executive production on The Passion of the Christ. Yeah, the Mel Gibson film that made a gazillion dollars. The #1 religious film of all time, I think. If I recall correctly, it just blew everybody out of the water. Everybody was amazed at how much money it made. And this guy who produced that film is doing this one. And this is absolutely just an amazing concept. They're talking about things where you're going to be able to look around everywhere. You're going to be able to see action from all kinds of different angles. For instance, the first miracle of Jesus, the first recorded miracle was turning water into wine. And the producers say that it's going to be just like you were sitting there, standing there in the middle of this grand wedding, and you were actually there as he's doing this. Now, this is a concept that obviously is going to be kind of an amazing project, kind of grueling if you think about it as well, because they're going to go from the beginning to the end of the New Testament. They're going to be covering Jesus' birth, the death of Jesus Christ. And they're even going to go along and they're going to be they're going to be covering, yes, the resurrection. They're going to be covering things, more fun things like Sermon on the Mount. Fun things. Well, you've got the idea. But this is an amazing concept. Now, this is going to be something that's going to be very huge as well. I want you to think about this. Most virtual reality these days is done in the form of games. I understand that some people have done VR movies, and it's been the people on the other end of the spectrum, if you will, from the religious folks. It's the how do I say this? It's people who are developing inappropriate material, and essentially, we have found out that amount of time that's involved for VR also takes up a lot of hard drive space. So this is going to be very amazing, but I don't know how they're going to deliver this. This concept may have to be delivered something along the lines of, forget Blu-ray. We may be talking about having to deliver hard drives to deliver this information, to deliver this experience. And yet, throughout all of that, I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. I wouldn't mind paying for that. I mean, if we think about this, paying for seeing a VR movie is not that bad when you consider how much the headsets are going to cost. Headsets, if you think about it, if you were going to, I'm not looking at paying $500 for a headset to watch a movie, but I would be willing to rent that headset. I would be willing to travel somewhere to see this movie. And I imagine we're going to see that kind of availability happen. Now, mind you, this is a 90-minute movie. 90 minutes of being able to look around. I mean, yes, we're going to have issues with situations like, motion sickness. We're going to have issues of, well, that's a lot of money to have that hardware tied up for that long. I mean, yeah, you're going to have to tie up the system, the computer system, the VR headset, the hard drive space, all of this. But you know what? I think it would be worth it. What do you think? Would you pay extra to see a movie like this in virtual reality? I mean, I'm not talking about just some action flick. Yes, this is an amazing action flick, an amazing love story, the love of a savior for us, but think about this. This could be well worth the money for an experience that you can tell everybody about. Yeah, wow. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, this is Benjamin Rockwell. Most of us use digital cameras nowadays, but what do we do with those old pictures and slides in the back of the closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. If you have boxes of old slides, then you know they fade more and more each year. Let Legacy Digital scan them for you and stop the aging process dead in its tracks. You'll get beautiful 10-megapixel digital files, color-corrected and ready for printing. All this is done faster and cheaper than buying a film scanner and doing it yourself. Your files are then burned onto gold archival DVD discs where they will last for generations. Call right now, mention my name, Benjamin Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. And tell them Benjamin sent you. Your memories are priceless, so call 866-2-LEGACY now.
Yes, it is now summertime, and we all have to be concerned about computing in public. This is the time of year when you're thinking about traveling, or you are already traveling. So I want you to keep these things in mind when you're visiting the relatives. As a matter of fact, this is 4th of July weekend, Independence Day, and we're setting new records for travel. Now, airports, train stations, malls, and more, we all have these public access points available to us, these hot spots that make computing easier. Now, each location, though, is a potential danger for you and for me in various ways. First, let's go through some of these basic items for you. First, if you're not connecting to the internet, period, turn off your wireless. You're going to get better battery power by doing that, because these days you're going to be seeing all kinds of different wireless access points, SSIDs, and your system's going to be trying to connect up. Whether it's your smartphone, your tablet, or your laptop, or whatever, it's going to be trying to connect. So turn off the wireless. As it's trying to connect, it's utilizing that battery power, and it's just crunching away trying to think, and it's tying up CPU speed and stuff like that. So if you're not connecting, turn it off. Next, depending on what you're on, a laptop or some of the tablets out there, the Androids especially, and phones as well, Android concept, enable your local firewall software. Now, this can be zone alarm free, which is the name of a popular firewall software. You don't, trust me, you don't need to buy the full version if you're just using it just this once. Use the Windows Firewall too. That's an option as well. When you're at home, you see, you only have to worry about the computers on your own network. And they do have a firewall at most public locations these days, and they're going to protect you. They're going to present a defense for you from outside, but not so much on the inside. See, viruses on one computer in that coffee shop, that hotel, whatever, may wind up going to your computer. They may wind up going to another location outside. So you want to be concerned about this. So viruses can travel. We already know this. Hackers may be also searching for your information. You connect up to a public hotspot, and if you've got local shares enabled on your computer, then they can connect to those. So what do? The next item, disable them. Disable your local shares. And there are so many different ways to do this for different things. Again, I just go with the concept of utilize a firewall software. Okay, so if we do that, we're already protected. Now, the next item, check your virus scanning software immediately upon connection. Make sure that you have the latest pattern release files from your vendor. I don't want you playing around with this. I don't want you just saying, it's fine, and you leave it alone, and you just say, it always works. No, you have to check it. That should be your very first thing when you're in public. Why? Because the matter of time since when you were at home 4 hours ago, 8 hours ago, 3 days ago, and now a new virus may have come out, and your system is not protected against it. If you just wait and you rely on your system to update, you could wind up in trouble. So no matter what, take the moment, take the time, do it right. A honeypot is another danger in any area. This is labeled as a free hotspot and may look like the Starbucks, the Denny's, the Tivana hotspot, wherever you're at. Confirm with the owner if you have to. Go up to the and if it's the manager, the person behind the counter, whoever it is, and they do like it if you're buying food. So by all means, buy something. I mean, you're getting free hotspot, free Wi-Fi from them, but you need to watch out for this. Honeypots can also include fake pay locations that mimic the other ones around you, keeping the credit card information to pass along to somebody else. Yeah, that actually happens. That's a real thing. They've done that before. They give you fake access to the internet. Well, they give you paid access to the internet, and they keep your information. So stick with the official ones. Any paid location, of course, is a potential point for carders to gain your information. What are those? Those are basically people who are sitting around looking for your credit card information. Now, don't be paranoid about this, but I want you to look over your shoulder. I want you to watch out for people who are watching what you type. That includes anything from passwords to the contents of your emails or whatever. Lastly, all of these things, everything here is a very valuable target for thieves. And they're not always looking for the hardware. What? Yeah, that's right. Identity thieves are looking out for the laptops, the cell phones, and whatnot because they get more information off of that than you might believe. Lock windows. And just because you lock Windows doesn't mean it's safe. I can reset passwords on a locked PC in a matter of about 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm a good guy. If you have to step away, look into something like a Kensington lock. And don't be afraid to take your laptop right into the restroom stall. Don't hang it over the door, as folks have been known to steal from there. Put it someplace really safe nearby you. Wrap it around your arm, something. Yeah. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and just a normal person. Recently, though, it was clear to me that it was time to upgrade. But I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After searching around for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when a 32-ounce soda would do. These guys know WordPress, Joomla, and regular standard websites. These guys at SiteGround are awesome. SiteGround.com. Site, S-I-T-E, ground.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. You know, one of the things that, well, it hit the news. I don't know if it's more of news than a book has come out by a gentleman by the name of Antonio Garcia Martinez. And he used to be the advertising manager for Facebook. This book, I haven't read the book. I've read only just a couple of different reviews about the book. And not so much reviews of the book, it's reviews of the content of the book. And if this is true, mind you, you never know. Sometimes what happens is when people leave someplace, they have a better just effect about them. So they strike back. So this book, Chaos Monkeys, Obscene Fortune and Random Failure in Silicon Valley, is supposedly a tell-all of all of the problems that happened at Facebook. And when we talk about some of these things, as I read through the various items that people have highlighted in their articles, as I went through all of these different things, I realized that this is all of this. Everything that's going on is too strange not to be true. And there have been some various things which have been corroborated outside of this book too. The different issues, different experiences that people had, which kind of reinforce this concept. For instance, Facebook has been, considered a sexist workplace, and that Mark Zuckerberg is, he rules like a tyrant. So this is one of those situations where we have a glimpse inside one of the biggest companies out there in the internet. They are the number one in social media. This is absolutely just amazing to see. As a matter of fact, it's so amazing, it's so wild that so much of this stuff that's on this is stuff that people shouldn't be reading. There's all kinds of horrific things, language and just experiences, and I'm just dumbfounded that any workplace would allow stuff like this. Now, mind you, it's all allegations. All of this is a potential to just be a matter of rumors and gossip. But is it gossip when someone's saying that these things happened to him? Well, I don't know. We have to kind of think about this. We have to kind of wonder about this. But the more we go along, the more we find that Facebook may not be the wonderful place we think it is. I think that's what it all boils down to. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
Gigabyte, kilobyte, terabyte, megabyte, all this stuff makes my brain megahertz. Fortunately, someone is available to explain all this technobabble. Guiding you on your computer quest, here is Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. I am a computer nerd, and so are all of the rest of us here at Computer Talk Radio. We are here on a mission to provide you with more information in regards to computers and technology than you could ever imagine. So if you have questions for us, give us a contact. We're more than happy to help you out all the time. We'd love to do that. Coming up later on this hour, we're going to have Steve Keske. He's going to be talking about hearing aids. Yeah, technology actually has come a long way. We're going to be covering this over a couple of different shows because there's a lot of technology involved with them. Also, I've got an interesting experience in regards to an internet purchase, which we'll catch up on that a little bit later. But first, let's dive into one of the things that really. There's a lot of people that have these different myths about the internet in regards to, oh, I don't do this, so therefore I'm safe. Oh, I do this, so therefore I'm safe. And let's actually go through some of these different myths. First off, myth, the web is safe because I've never been infected by malware. I don't even know where to go with this one. Yeah, I do know where to go with this one. There are so many people who've received computer infections. I've had people bring me their computers. Oh yeah, I don't use McAfee because I've never been infected with a computer virus. That's interesting, because the computer problem you're bringing your computer in for, yeah, that actually is a computer virus. Believe it or not. Look, there's also a number of different places that malware pops up. We think of malware so often. We think of computer viruses. We think of the big, huge skull that from Independence Day, which just pops up and goes ha 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 ha, and it's supposed to be scary. Well, sometimes we can get infected by software, by this malware, this malicious software. And it steals our information, your passwords, usernames, your email accounts, everybody's email that you've ever talked to. But let's even move beyond that. They might hijack your machine for sending out stuff. And oddly enough, when they hijack your machine and your computer runs a little bit slower, what happens is, yeah, it's running slower, but it's also protecting you from other malware because they own your computer now and they seal up some of the stuff behind them. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of weird. Here's another myth for you. Myth. Only gambling sites and other dodgy sites, places with inappropriate materials, the seedy side of the internet. Only stuff like that is dangerous, not the rest of the internet. More than 80% of the sites that are hosting malware are trusted sites. There's an entire problem out there. There's an entire issue where you can get malware by going to, they actually did a study. They checked out, over the course of a week, they checked out every major website, every major news website, from Huffington Post to Drudge Report to, I don't even know what's, there's, I think it's Red State or something like that. I don't know. And they checked out CNN and ABC and all of them, and they found that all of them served up advertising, and in that advertising, stuff sneaks through. And that's been going on for ages. Another myth: only naive users get infected with malware and viruses. No, this stuff happens without your interaction. This stuff happens without you touching anything. Yeah, you can touch stuff. Yeah, you can go and you can click the wrong thing, and all of a sudden, yeah, you're going to get infected. But some of this stuff just happens without anything happening. Myth: you can only get infected if you download files. Well, actually, no. These systems download the files. They download this malware for you. What's happening is they're utilizing holes in your system. They're utilizing your software and the bugs that are within the software to attack you. There are different things that the software is supposed to do. You load up Internet Explorer or Edge or Chrome or Firefox or whatever, Opera, and it comes up and it actually identifies itself to the remote website. It says, hey, I'm Mozilla Firefox. Hey, I'm Internet Explorer 11, whatever it is. And it tells the guy on the other side what it is. At that point, they can deliver code. They can say, oh, this is the website you're looking for. This person's running XYZ software. We don't have a vulnerable point, entry point into this software, so we're just going to deliver the regular website. And this all happens in the blink of an eye. This happens just by delivering advertising. As a matter of fact, one of the big myths, here's a myth: websites have to be infected for you to get infected. And the reality is, no. What happens is, yes, you can get infected because there's, again, we go back to, I was talking about advertising. That advertising that they're selling, okay, so you go to xyz.com. I don't care what website we're talking about. They sell their advertising probably to 10 different companies. Well, those 10 companies sell their advertising space that they bought from xyz.com, and they sell that to another 10 companies apiece, or maybe even 50 companies apiece. And we go down layers and layers and layers. So there's a matter of 5,000, 10,000 different advertisers on that particular website. And they're all paying little small amounts of money to advertise. Now, this little small amount of money is used to target your system. So, yeah, it's not a matter of Huffington Post is infected, or Drudge Report is infected, or CNN is infected. It's a matter of, yes, the advertiser is delivering it to you. Here's another myth. Chrome is more secure than Internet Explorer, which is more secure than Firefox, which is more secure than Opera. Look, it actually goes back and forth, and the reality is so much is really there as a vulnerability, not because you're running Firefox or Chrome over Internet Explorer or Opera or whatever. Look, there are things that latch in. Adobe Flash. Adobe Flash has pretty much gone away because of that. It's still in heavy use, but a lot of people are, a lot of different browsers are no longer supporting it, and a lot of different websites have just had to turn it off, and they've had to convert Flash to something else. But beyond that, let's look at Adobe Acrobat. That has all kinds of vulnerabilities in it, and they keep patching that one. So it's things like that and JavaScript which are leaving us open to attack. And even then, sometimes it's just the holes in the browsers. Here's another myth. When the lock icon appears in the browser, it's secure. Well, okay, it's a secure vehicle for information to go from your computer to the other computer. But what is that other computer? Is that other computer infected and sending you malware? Maybe that's an issue. Maybe it's a matter of that computer has a vulnerability in it. You're sending the information from your credit card over to the remote computer. That information is secure from your computer to the remote computer. But if there's a vulnerability over there and somebody's sitting there gathering all of the information up, then yes, that is a vulnerability that can be used against you. It doesn't mean the entire transaction is secure, just the information from your computer to the other computer. So be careful. Also look for spoofed sites, phishing sites, which pretend to be the bank, the credit card, or whatever. And that happens all the time too. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. So Cameron contacted me, and this is kind of a listener question, but this is a big, huge, long list of things that, well, these are questions to ask when you're buying a used computer. Look, computers have rapidly become essential components for many of us. We have to have them, but most computer experts estimate that an average machine stays current for only about 3 years. So you might get some extra life out of them. You might get it on up to 4 or 5 years. And yes, Keith says, yeah, the lifetime of a computer is 6 years. At least that's over on the Apple side. It's going to vary depending on what you are dealing with. It depends on what you are using your computer for. So this is one of those things where there's some guidelines and then there are some hard set rules that we have to go through. Look, first question right off. Why is the particular computer being sold? I mean, it's going to be helpful to know why the person is offering it for sale. This is going to give you an idea of what you're spending your money on. It's going to give you an idea of why the price might be high or low. You know, some parents might be selling off their computers from their children after their kids go into college or they leave the house. Others might be raising money in order to upgrade or purchase another computer. One of the key warning items I'm going to throw at you, though, is you don't want a system that has been sitting in the garage. Why has it been sitting in the garage? Why has it been gathering dust there? Why is that going on? Now, the next item, you're going to need to go to eBay. You're going to find out what the average sale price of similar models are going to be. Okay? Ask the local computer outlet for advice on the resale value of this, that, or the other thing. Now, mind you, they're going to give you a pitch. They're going to give you all kinds of a sales pitch. You can also check the classified ads, Craigslist, and stuff like that. Now, some used computer systems retain their value. Now, if you're buying anything that's older than about 10 years, you're going to also find that there are some very interesting oddities, which people can demand a large amount for. Yes, I have a couple of Osborne portables. People will pay some decent money for these. They can buy these Osborne portables, but they're going to pay a lot more than what they are worth as far as computing power. They're buying them as antiques. So you have to check things out. Next item, what peripherals are coming along with this? Now, yeah, sometimes it's just the CPU. And then, most people, well, we've got to look at, is a monitor coming with this? You do want the keyboard and mouse. And this is one of those things that's traditionally sent along. If you already have a keyboard and mouse, you don't have to. But usually all new computers come with a keyboard and a mouse. And, of course, if it's a laptop, there's all sorts of peripherals there. Is the bag included? You're going to need the power supply for this. There's a lot of things to take into consideration. If they have additional hardware and peripherals, find out if perhaps they're selling those as well. Now, will your software work well on the new system? Especially if you've got specific things in mind. Look, sometimes we have word processing software that we definitely have to have, or a home bookkeeping item like QuickBooks or something like that. You need to find out what your requirements are for software. You need to find out if the computer is going to run those. Now, the next item, can the computer take a newer operating system? Now, if it's running Windows XP, it probably maybe will run Windows 10. If it's running Windows 7 or 8, it'll run Windows 10. So you can rest assured with that. It could be an older XP system, or it could be a brand new XP system. And I don't really mean brand new, but XP systems were sold quite far along in there. It may have all kinds of power and all kinds of just ability to upgrade memory. So you want to check that out. Obviously, if it's running something like Windows 95, yeah, you want to move on. You need to look this over very carefully. Are there specialty drivers that are going to be needed? Sometimes computer sellers haven't really discovered what their computer can do. They've got the computer there, and it's not running a particular game. They say, yeah, I wanted it to play this game or that game. And really all that needed to be upgraded was a matter of a video card or the drivers themselves. But you need to know how that computer is running. The next item. This is a key item all the way along for any computer. This is a standard upgrade these days. Can additional memory be purchased and installed by you? Now, some older computers, they've got a fixed limit on memory capacity, or parts may no longer be available. You need to find out. There's a website I use, Crucial.com, CRUCIAL.com. If you have a chance, hook up the system to the internet and run that, and it'll tell you. I mean, yeah, they're offering to sell it to you, but it'll tell you. It'll scan it and it'll say, yeah, hey, we'll sell you this for this amount. And as a side note, it's at a competitive price, so don't worry about that. But you want to find out also the process of upgrading that memory. Sometimes the process is it's just hideous. It's horrible. You have to first you have to loosen up 17 screws, and then you have to flip the whole thing over. Then you have to remove the keyboard. I'm thinking of a particular laptop. And then you have to actually remove the video card, the hard drive, and the DVD. And actually, I don't think it was in that order. I think it's somewhere along the way. It was a matter of it's an hour and a half to upgrade the laptop. Look, you can find out online. There's a number of different websites that have teardowns. This is how we upgrade the memory on the Dell Inspiron E7450 or whatever it is. I don't know. Just giving you an idea. You want to look into how easy it is to upgrade the memory and also actually sometimes the hard drive, because you might get some extra speed out of a solid-state hard drive. So that's always an option there. But you need to know for yourself how easy is it going to be to do that. Have all vital updates and patches been downloaded? Now, this is another thing. Sometimes people don't download a whole bunch of patches. Sometimes they never update. They never run Windows Update. This is a key thing. This will tell you how they think of their computer. Some people say, oh, yeah, we don't need to run patches. We're doing this. We don't run patches because it could crash our computer. Well, the reality is the last time Microsoft had a major patch which crashed a whole bunch of computers and everybody was freaking out was ages ago. When I say ages, we're talking decades. So don't sweat that. Can additional hardware and software be found locally, or do they have to be ordered specially? Now, for the most part, you're going to be fine. But there's some weird stuff out there. Once in a while, somebody's selling a computer that it runs Linux, for instance. Yeah, that's a great use of the computer, but if you're running Linux on this system, are you going to be able to get updates for it? Are you going to be able to get software for it? Are you? I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you. Are you able to do this? And that's a big question. I've got more questions to ask you, not to dissuade you. I just want you to be prepared. I want you to have this information on hand. It's just that simple. Yeah, I love that phrase. It's just that simple. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment.
Micro Center, home to all kinds of electronics and computer items, has over 20 locations across the country, and it's also available at microcenter.com. This is Benjamin Rockwell of Computer Talk Radio, and I live just a couple of miles away from my local Micro Center, and I've been shopping there for years. From Apple to Windows, they've got what you need. CPUs, got them. Screwdrivers and other tools, yep. Cables, televisions, scanners, projectors, cameras, they have it all. Micro Center is a place which fills your electronic needs. What are you looking for? Media centers, monitors, mice, MP3 players, media, modems, motherboards, memory. Those are just the M's. They aren't regional, but spread across our great land from Virginia to California. Each one is service and repair, in-store clinics, and business services too. Microcenter.com is their online store, a place where you can get your regular online ordering needs met. From the hobbyist to the professional, the brand name, or building it yourself, Microcenter is your resource. Check out Microcenter.com today. Microcenter.com.
So Cameron contacted me. He had questions in regards to buying a used computer. A used computer, and that's okay. There are reasons why people will go after a used computer, and there's so many different things. And I said, look, I'm going to send you, and that's what I did. I sent him my reference list for this particular topic, and it's long. It's a bunch of different questions. And amongst these, can we upgrade it? Can it run the software we need it to run? The next one along this idea here is, has the computer ever been damaged by fluids or exposure to the elements? Again, that's kind of why I don't want to see that it was in the garage. I don't want to hear that it was in the garage because we could have already had damage done to it and nobody knows. So that's a key issue right there. Now, you may be buying a system that's fully running. It's got everything on there. If it does, has it been scanned for spyware, adware, viruses, all of that? Check to see if McAfee Trend Micro's, whatever it is, it's running, if it's running the latest files on it, if it's running the latest pattern files. This is important. You want to know that this system is not infected. Even still, I'm going to suggest if you buy a system that you buy it completely cleaned. Wipe it out completely. If they don't, you need to do that. Install Windows from scratch. You want all of the disks, by the way. Are they providing all of the disks? Are they providing some of the disks? I mean, you really only need the disks that came with the system. You don't need Microsoft Office or any of that. They may have that. They may have installed that. But you really need to make sure you have your own license for that. Are there additional USB ports available for hardware upgrades or things like that? Different slots. I will tell you that these days the modern computers are coming with a large amount of USB ports. Why? Because it's cheap. But does it have enough for you? Especially if you're running something like, I don't know, let's say you're running a laptop and it has 2 USB ports. Well, a mouse and a thumb drive, and you've just used up all of your USB ports. Yes, we can use a USB hub. Yes, we can even get a powered USB hub. So you plug it in, and it provides all of the power that's needed for the additional peripherals. But do you want to do that all the time? And you've got to weigh that out. Is the particular model still in production, or is it considered obsolete? Now, an obsolete computer may still be perfectly usable for word processing, for basic internet usage, and things like that. But you really want to make sure that if it's over, about 6 years old, that you're not paying any level of premium on it whatsoever. If it's still in production, if it's still a modern level of computing, then yeah, all of the different things are going to be available for it. Whether we're talking about your peripherals, the printer, if you're buying a printer with it, the supplies for the printer are going to be cheaper if it's more recent, stuff like that. The next item, are there local repair services available for that particular computer? Or are you going to have to ship it off to, North Dakota, South Dakota? That's a little Gateway reference, by the way. I know they were in the Dakotas. I have no idea if they're still in the Dakotas. But are they even still around? I want you to think about that. Gateway is still around. It was bought out by E-Machines, but I don't think I've even seen the brand Gateway anywhere in ages. But that's one of the things. If you need repair, it should be easily done at the local shop. I mean, sometimes, some of these, it's going to be fine. It's going to be a matter of you take it into your local computer store, or the Geek Squad guys over at Best Buy, sure. But some of the different computers out there have some slight oddities. There are some very nice laptops out there that are custom-built laptops. They're not just your standard, typical off-the-shelf Dell laptop or HP laptop. There's a company that's coming to mind, and I can't remember the name of it, but it makes some great hardware. But if you need a repair, it's all exclusive to them. You send it off to wherever they're located for the repair. It's going to last. But it's kind of like, why don't you buy a Rolls Royce? Well, yeah, the Rolls Royce looks really nice, but the repair costs on that are going to be through the roof. Is the seller going to be available for additional information or assistance? Some people are, I want to sell it and be done with it. Other sellers out there, look, contact me if you've got any problems, and you want to know that they're honest about this. Some people will say, contact me with any problems, and then you never are able to reach them again. But I'm going to tell you right off, most used computer sales are considered final. They're considered without warranty. You need to ask all of your questions up front before you go any further. The next question, have all the personal files been removed? Yes. You need to make sure that all of their personal files are off of there. You don't want them on there. I can't underscore that one enough. Here's another question for you to ask. Have any unusual problems occurred which could not be repaired or explained? Now, they're not going to want to disclose all the negative aspects of the computer, but you want to hear enough. You want to hear them say something like, yeah, once in a while this acted up. Once in a while, I'd have to reboot the system. You want to hear them being honest. And this is really a key thing here. If they're giving you information that's honest. Every computer has its quirks. Every computer has things that, that go wrong that you just can't explain. Now, you want to plug this up. You want to start this up. You want to see that it starts in a timely fashion. You want to make sure that you run a few different programs. You want to make sure that they don't hang up or anything like that. You want to spend about 30 minutes before you put your money down. I know. It seems crazy. This should be about an hour process. You're going to ask all of these questions, and then you're going to spend 30 minutes checking the computer out yourself. If you want these lists, you want this whole bit of information, I can email you this entire list of questions. Just go ahead and contact me at computertalkradio.com. Go to the contacts tab and fill out the information. I will get back with you. This is Benjamin Rockwell, Steve Keske coming up next here on Computer Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Benny Rockwell. Most of us use video cameras nowadays, but what about those old movie films in the back of your closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. Imagine Grandpa's old 8mm and 16mm films that are just sitting in a box getting old and fading away. Legacy Digital will clean and recondition those films, capture them digitally frame by frame, and then produce beautiful DVDs of your precious memories on long-lasting, archive-quality discs. They don't use a projector, and your films can't be damaged in the process, the best available for families like yours. The final results are gorgeous. What better way to preserve those precious memories for future generations? Call right now, mention my name, Benny Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. 1-866-253-4229. And tell them Benny sent you. Your memories are priceless, so call 866-2-LEGACY now.
The website computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. Steve Keske joins me now. And Steve, one of the things that we've been talking about offline for the past, off air, I should say, for the past few weeks has been the fact that you were going to get hearing aids, and this is my first chance to actually talk with you about this. I know that back at CES you saw some or heard some very interesting hearing aids, and I'm wondering what technology has done with hearing aids. What has been your experience so far with this?
I guess the biggest things that technology has done is, one, you now have rechargeable batteries. You don't have to go out and buy, batteries all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that because they are now programmable, they can do many things with a program that they can set via Bluetooth. And if I had a Bluetooth-enabled
smartphone or
device, tablet, I could do it myself.
So let's start off with a rechargeable for just right off. What are we talking about for rechargeable? I mean, do you have to pop the batteries out and recharge them and then put them back in, or is the whole device plug in, or what?
Basically what it is it's a charger, that I can either plug into my computer over a USB port, or and it's got a plug adapter that you can plug it into a regular outlet, and then you dock the hearing aid, and it's got a magnetic docker, so you know it's in, and then it goes ahead and charges it up.
So kind of like the Macintosh, the Apple Mac series of laptops, rather the MacBook and so forth. They've got something called MagSafe. So you're basically putting it in at magnets, basically spin it around, put it in the right direction, and then provide the electric connection to charge it, huh?
Yep, something like that.
Something like that. All right. So now one of the things that concerns me before we get into the software part is, okay, I know that you are legally blind, and it's one of those things where you can probably you could probably figure it out pretty easily by just a matter of feeling them. And I know you've got enough vision to see, but have you done anything else to differentiate between your left ear and your right ear?
Well, you can't get them in the wrong ear. That's for sure.
Right.
Because they're made and they're set up one for each ear.
Yeah, but I imagine you might spend a moment or so, and then it might slow you down if you tried to put the wrong one in.
Yeah,
and so forth. Okay, so.
But what I did was I went in there to the company and I say, can you make, you've got them in different colors. Can you give me one in this color and one in that color?
So you
mismatched. Sure.
You mismatched the colors. Okay, and that's I have I've got hearing protection for when I go to events that are very loud, and I know other people who have hearing protection like this. They big huge things. You know what? You're right. Sometimes they'll do like a red for right and a blue for left, or a black for left, and stuff like that. So they know which ear goes where.
Yeah.
So that makes
it's
sense.
Very nice.
So the process, I imagine, is probably about the same for fitting. They probably put some something that feels like creamy peanut butter in your ears to take a mold of your ear and stuff like that. No?
Nope. Because the actual microphone is behind my ear, but the tube goes down and it actually takes up the microphone, not the microphone, but the speaker is actually in my ear, in the tube in my ear.
Okay.
So because it's that way, they have two different types of anchors that keeps it in the ear channel.
Okay.
And in my case, I took the easy one. The easy one worked for me, and it's called the butterfly. So he just slides that over the speaker, and then it slides into the ear canal, and it's anchored inside that canal so it doesn't fall out.
Pardon me just a moment. I have to put a butterfly in my ear. Okay.
Well, it's called a butterfly because it's got a couple of little wings that literally spread out and hold it in place.
Okay, fair enough. So I imagine that this entire experience has been something new for you to learn and adapt to.
Oh yeah, it takes. In my case, what they do is they start it out at 50% because one of the things that you got to get used to is you've got a certain amount of feedback. And not necessarily the kind that you normally get with a microphone feedback, but this feedback is from your own voice in your own head.
Oh,
and you've got to get used to that because your brain's got to get used to the fact that it can now hear your own body, your own voice through the body.
The resonance of your skull and stuff like that.
That kind of stuff.
I find when I put on headphones, in real life, my voice is about an octave higher. When I put on headphones, for whatever reason, when I hear my voice back, I drop it down almost just instantaneously. So, I can understand that immensely.
Right now I'm wearing them, and I've got the aids right in my ears right now.
Very cool. We're going to have to cover more of this on a future episode of Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back with my closing comments in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and, well, a normal person. Recently, though, it became clear to me that it was time to upgrade. I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After looking for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their care, their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when all I needed was a 1-gallon bucket. The folks at SiteGround know WordPress, Joomla, and more. SiteGround.com. S-I-T-E ground.com for your web hosting needs. SiteGround. So I was shopping online. We all do this, but of course, every once in a while, I get to make a comment in regards to my experiences. Now, I'm going to protect the company. I'm not going to name who they are because my intent is not to really slam the company to hurt them, but to point out that our world is changing, and this can apply anywhere. Now, imagine that I go to a website and it's called Los Angeles Hats. Now, that's not the product and that's not the company. Just saying right off the top, but it's close enough for you to understand where I'm going. And this particular website talks about the style of the product, and it creates a feel based upon that image. They're evoking certain items when they're discussing about their different products. Again, not hats. But I can look up and find out that they are located in the Los Angeles area, just a short trip from where I live. They have local phone numbers and more. They even have a retail store. Now imagine that I place my order and I decide I'm going to forego any shipping expedite fees because they're local. I didn't need my order right away, and I figured it would ship right away, be there in a day. It's local, right? So I ordered way before lunchtime that day, but then the next day I received a notice that the order was shipping. All right. So it's only another day, but this was kind of more of, it wasn't really an impulse buy, but I like that instant gratification that comes from the package coming in the next day, or maybe 2 days later. So I figured the order would arrive the following day. No. Next day? No. I went to the UPS tracking number and found the order had shipped from Maryland. Yeah, that's right. It's going to be 8 days from when I ordered. I could have driven there in about 20-30 minutes and asked questions, explored their line of goods, and saved on the shipping costs, the weight, and more. I thought of doing that. All of this appearance of a local company, a small retail shop in a commercial area, and the Los Angeles personality or style, and it's coming from across the country. Our United States flags are made in Taiwan. Our smartphones are made in China. This is because of large companies with multinational exposure and slimming down expenses to stay competitive. So I thought, I'm going to do the right thing. I chose a small company instead of going to Amazon because I thought they were a boutique-style shop. I paid for shipping instead of free, again through Amazon, in a desire to help the local economy. I chose these folks, spending a few extra bucks because I thought they were local. Instead, this shop, which names their half dozen or so employees, responded with a simple, "Yeah, we ship from Maryland. Oh well, sorry." I'm dumbfounded. My memory reaches back in time to the days of a particular commercial where the guys are sitting around a campfire and they're reading the ingredients on their salsa jar, and they scream out in horror as they read that the salsa was made in New York City. Yeah, and they threaten to hang the guy. What's happened? I have no idea. But it's interesting that the internet has enabled us to deal with local stores and yet have them ship from halfway across the country, all the way across the country. Yeah. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. We'll catch you next week.
let me tell you about the Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time.